I think I've said this every year for the last 30 years, but the draw is the draw. I mean, we have some input into it, but there are so many intricacies that go with it. It's a difficult thing for the AFL to get 18 clubs' requests, all the broadcasters, the ground availability and everything else exactly as you want it. But certainly from our point of view, we knew we'd get a pretty tough draw, and that's how it's worked out. But we're comfortable with what we've been given with some of certainly the night fixtures now are terrific for us. I think we've got 7 home night fixtures, which give us the flexibility with our members and supporters to get to games. We've got the flexibility and the opportunity to have some commercial content, which is fantastic across Australia. So that sort of stuff is brilliant. And I think we've been able to satisfy Channel 7, Foxtel, Telstra with our draw. I think it works in some of the time slots going back to the east, and I think that's important for us also to get national coverage. So I'll just open with those few comments and then go from there.
Quite an incredible start, isn't it? That Brisbane game, then the Giants is a night game here, Collingwood is a G night game, Derby night game, and then you've got Good Friday night game. It's a remarkable start to the season, really, isn't it? Yeah,
it is, and I think for the first dozen or so games, most of them are at night, so we'll be night owls. But I mean, in the end, it is a wonderful opportunity for us to make sure that we perform well in the big clashes. We've got so many good games coming up. I mean, we've got Melbourne twice, Collingwood twice, Freo twice. We've got Adelaide twice. I mean, they're all tough games, and we understand that, and that's what happens when you're successful. I guess the year before, I think Collingwood's draw was pretty tough as well, and they would have expected it. So it's good, but it's going to take a lot of hard work to make sure we're successful again in 2019.
Collingwood, Melbourne, Hawthorn and Adelaide, who you would expect to improve, they're 4 of your 5 double-ups.
Yeah, they're all gimmies, aren't they? It is a hard draw. They're tough games, and the expectation is from our players and our club is that we were always going to get a pretty tough assignment to start with, and obviously we're going to have to play well to finish in the top 2 or 3 again. But you know, the first aim always at the club is to make the finals, so that's the first step. We've got to win enough games to make the finals, and that's the first step.
What about Melbourne in Alice Springs? Does that surprise you, given when they're up and going, they're a pretty big club and might have been an opportunity to play at the MCG?
Well, we've got 3 games at the G anyway, so that's a real plus for us, and they're hard to get scheduled for us, so having 3, we're really appreciative of that. We'll look forward to playing in Alice. We've played a few practice games there or JLT games there over the years, and it's been a great venue, and I think it's a great experience for the people of Alice and the people of the NT. We enjoyed the game in Darwin when we've played up there as well, so no, we won't have any problem there, and we think it's a great promotion for the sport. I think we've got 5-6 day breaks again, and again we're appreciative of that. I think the sticking point for our draw is that we've got 3 night games away plus 2 twilight games away. They're difficult for us because some of those we won't be able to get out to get home, so that's probably the sticking point for us. But I mean, we have to go with the flow in some respect.
Can you understand why some fans are a bit upset that the first rematch against Collingwood will be at the MCG and not at Optus Stadium, considering they actually won the premiership? Yeah,
look, we do. We were hoping to get that Collingwood game the second round. It didn't eventuate because there's probably some vagaries with the draw, not only for the Easter weekend, but also for the Anzac weekend and how it all works out for Collingwood. Having said that, we've got a pretty formidable opponent second up in GWS after a tough game in Brisbane. So it's not an easy opening, but we'll be looking forward to unfurling the flag anyway on that second round.
The Good Friday game, did you ask for Good Friday or did it unfold that way?
Oh, it's been one of our requests. It hasn't been a priority request, but we wanted more Friday night games mainly for our country people. That day suits them. A lot of people have asked why we haven't requested it as a priority as well. Having said that, we know we're going to disappoint some people with religious beliefs that we shouldn't be playing on Good Friday. The AFL have set a benchmark a couple of years ago when they implemented it, and we obviously had a lot of consideration as to whether we would do it, but there has been enough support behind us from others to play on Good Friday.
What's your early feedback on that from your members, Trevor?
It's been pretty positive. A lot of people, particularly people who are travelling to Perth, coming to Perth for that weekend, it's been more positive than negative. Yeah, there are some negatives, no doubt.
Is anybody from the Waffle throwing their arms up? Because I think they were trying to create that as their sort of day here in the West.
Yeah, look, I think we need to turn that into a positive if we can as well. And I've had a couple of calls from a couple of Waffle CEOs saying that, perhaps West Coast could play on that day with our new Waffle team playing against one of the Waffle sides, which I think could create some real interest, and then people could hopefully get to that game and then get across to the stadium. So if that works, that we might be able to turn what's perceived as a negative into a positive.
Couldn't have it at Optus as well, the Waffle game itself?
Well, we'd have to talk to the clubs involved because obviously it's their home game. Yeah.
Is there any possibility that your Waffle team will play any games as curtain raisers to your games?
We'd like to think that's a possibility, particularly when we're playing Fremantle and we're playing Peel, perhaps. I've put that past John Ditchburn at Peel, and they'll have to consider that, and obviously Fremantle will have to consider that as well. But there are possibilities, and hopefully that'll happen.
The AFL buys, will that dictate when your second team plays as well? Would they play on a weekend when you're not playing? Could that happen? Or?
It could happen. Generally, what's happened in the Waffle fixturing, they've had the bye for East Perth in previous years at the same time as our guys. That's our preference. Sometimes it doesn't work like that, but certainly that would be our preference.
Would you have liked to see the Derby a little bit later, considering the Gaff scenario and how it all unfolded? It seems to be very close to his return.
Yeah, look, I think the players these days, the people involved, are professional enough to overcome that, and hopefully they will. We're just looking forward to having Andrew back playing in round 3, and hopefully if he's up and about, he'll be in the team to play Collingwood at the G and then Fremantle with our home game in round 4. So I would think most people have put that behind them. Maybe the fans haven't locked, but I think most people would put that behind them and say, okay, well, let's get on with the footy.
Looks like the AFL's put out a release that 8 clubs will have a 5-day break, and you're not one of them. So that's a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's a real positive for us. I think the thing that we always try to illustrate to the AFL is that we do fly the most and have flown the most in the past with Fremantle, and we need them to take that into consideration. And having the 5-6 day breaks is enough. I think Freo might have one more than us this year, and that's enough for both clubs. 5 or 6 6-day breaks is plenty in a 23-round season.
Is Saturday, because of that, the travel, is Saturday more appealing to WA clubs than Friday? If you get good games in Saturday night time slot at home?
Well, Friday nights are really important for clubs from a commercial aspect because of the viewership, and Saturday nights also feature really well, but Friday nights are massive, and it's a great time slot for clubs to play. So yes, it's imperative that we get the breaks for our players, and welfare comes first. But certainly the opportunity to play Friday nights shouldn't be underestimated as the value it is for clubs. And I think Collingwood get 7 this year or something. It's extraordinary, and we've got I think we've got 3. Yeah, so it's fabulous, and we've got a Thursday night. Yeah, so we've got a really good spread of games against competition now. Any team you play is going to be hard to beat. So we're going to have to be right on our mettle to make sure that we're playing well.
Is this a fixture that enables you to push for that 100,000 member mark?
I hope so. It's not going to be easy. Getting to 80,000 members was, we thought, phenomenal on the back of the new stadium and everything that happened this year. But there's going to be a lot of work to try and push it past 100,000. But you look, our supporter operations people are hard at it right now with memberships and so forth. But it's going to be a tough job.
So where does that growth come from, given you're so close to capacity at home games? Do you work on away memberships or Melbourne memberships, or how do you grow more than what you already are?
You work at, well, we've been working on, at the moment, families. Some people are registering as one member, and there's actually 4 members in those families. So hopefully more families will join, and they'll join as 4 people rather than 1. And that means we get more kids and more youth and others involved. And yes, there's a lot of opportunity now, I think, to grow nationally, particularly with our schedule this year. It gives us a chance to grow nationally, where we haven't had this sort of schedule for a fair while.
Ironic too that you've been asking for more MCG games. You got more this year, but you've already conquered the MCG. I suppose that's a bonus for you now.
I can soon slip away pretty quickly. Like, I think the issue for us is we need to continue to play well at the G. But getting more and more opportunity there against quality opposition is imperative for us, and we need to beat those good sides there every time we play. And last year was fantastic, or this year just gone, but we still need to do that on a regular basis.
Are you a fan of the Thursday night game?
Yeah. We think the Thursday nights are a good time slot for most people. The only thing that we're always concerned about is our country members, because a lot of country members can't get here for those games, and that's the only, I think, negative in a Thursday night time slot. Now that we've got the bridges open, the services, people are used to the services, I think it's going to be fine for us, other than our country members. Some of them can't get here.
Liz, have you got any update on the merchandise sales for the club since the grand final? Do you know approximately what you've sold or made since the grand final?
I don't know, Barry, but it's substantial. I mean, our merch sales and memorabilia sales have been fantastic. I mean, it's blown us away a bit. It's certainly more than expected, and it's difficult because you don't know you're going to win it. So it's pretty hard to put all the orders in and get them all out within the space of a week. So we're working through all the online orders that we've got at the moment, but it's quite substantial, and it'll be a nice result for us.
Can I just ask, I know it's a long way down the track, Kennedy and Nat Nui contracts, when do you start sort of beginning them, now that you've put Gaff away and all those sort of blokes?
Oh, well, I think both those guys and our senior players, we'll talk through the summer and see where they're at. Normally they'll either extend for a year or go year by year from this point, and I think both those guys they are up for recontracting, so we'll have a look at them over the summer.